preparing to live stream the meeting. All right. So we are, in fact, live streaming.
Woo!
Got it. And now let's record, shall we? Record on this. Okay, you can hit it any time you want.
So first of all, let's hope I can get through this because I've not been able to spend much time without coughing and hacking to death. So hopefully we'll be able to make
Gotta quit smoking that meth.
telling you, that's what it is.
Uh,
Woo. All right. Ready? Here we go. And in 5, 4, 3. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to discuss running ads on TikTok. Yep. TikTok.
Yep.
And of course, if you need to make a video ad for TikTok, well, our good friends at Movo can certainly help you look good on that old TikTok. And that's because they've got all sorts of things that you need to make great video. That includes lights, that includes microphones, that includes stands, and a whole lot more. In fact, if you're going to be doing TikTok, one of their vlogging kits could be perfect for you as it comes with everything that you need, including a really nice holder for your smartphone. You can use vertically and you can add a microphone to it. You can do all sorts of great stuff. So, want to shoot great video for your TikTok or anything else, then head on over to Movo by going to raiselinks.com/Movo and checking out all the great things they have there. And with that, let's hit the music. Pretend music, pretend music.
And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray, the video guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. I'm just Steve Sleeper. And hey, subscribe on Apple Podcasts or whatever wherever you listen to podcasts, give us a 5-star review.
Like Google Podcasts.
Google Podcast is going away, although I did figure out how to feed stuff to what's it called? YouTube Music. And I was able
easy.
to, yeah, it turns out to be very easy. You can go to the upload button and upload a podcast, and you just put in the RSS feed for your audio podcast. It'll upload it. And as long as you got what we used to call a badge, graphic or whatever, then on your source, which would be your website, then it just uploads all the audio podcasts, and it works really slick. So then it feeds out to YouTube Music, which is the big deal, but then it's also on your YouTube channel as well. You can either create a YouTube channel or just have one for all your podcasts, and you just create individual playlists for it. So that's kind of slick.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody
and if you've got
you
got informative videos that are already in a playlist, you can turn that into a podcast with the click of one button.
That's right. Yeah. That's what we do with these live streams we do many Thursdays. So that's kind of cool. The other thing is that there's just a couple of announcements I've got. Maybe you already know about this, but Google renames Bard to Gemini, and there's a paid version of it.
Yes, sir. And it says rename there, but supposedly it's actually quite different and advanced from what it used to be too. So there's some upgrades apparently too. I didn't really use Bard much, so tough for me to say. But supposedly it's an upgraded form of that, and there's a lot of upgraded forms of AI coming very, very soon. So,
well, we'll see.
Good or bad, depending upon your opinion.
And of course, AI is great for getting ideas for YouTube titles, YouTube copy, blog copy, that type of thing. I use it all the time because I do about, I don't know, it's not quite a dozen, but I do postings for lawyers on their GMBs and create videos and stuff like that, and cross-link. And I use ChatGPT for that. Now, it's been a while, but I tested Bard against Chat GPT, and Chat GPT was a lot better, at least a couple of months ago.
It seems to be a lot more creative, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. If an AI can actually be creative,
Well, it gives
then
you more copy, you know. I mean, I need probably 3 or 4 times the copy that I'm actually going to post on a Google business profile. Uh, by the time I edit it down, that's how much copy I need, and I didn't get a whole lot of copy with Bard, but I did
yep.
use it one time. But
Yep.
uh,
But I also used, AI besides going to one of those generative AI sources. I actually do a lot of AI with video. So, for
yeah,
instance,
you do.
we use Opal, and Opal will take a video and pull information out of it and make short videos out of it. Although today was a little different.
Only
Opal was what Opus was struggling just a little bit today.
it's called Opus.
Yeah. So if you
No.
haven't checked it out yet, it's a great program. But today, Opus Clip was being a little bit weird, and it was doing strange things, which I'm assuming are actually new features, but it was doing them on their own, and it was not good.
Ooh,
And then I was going in and making changes manually, and hitting the button and waiting. And then when I finished doing it manually, it was still doing the same thing. So there were a few
crazy.
videos I had to skip over, not use, but still an amazing program. But apparently they're doing some sort of updates and adding some things to it. But yeah, that's an AI that I use. I also use one called Vid Chapter,
No.
which is well, I'm not even sure if that's technically AI or not. It's some sort of automation tool, whether it's AI, who knows? It takes the actual text from your videos, and it turns it into, puts chapters in there for you automatically, and it'll write you up titles, and it'll write you up different things for descriptions and things like that, tags. So it's probably using AI somewhere in there. I'm just not sure what the extent of that is, but great little program that helps out a lot, saves a ton of time. So I really enjoy that.
Well, I am just very fortunate in that my business really took off upon the dawn of Chat GPT, because I all of a sudden had a lot more time to take on more business, more than anything
Right.
else. And I was thinking this week, man, I'm glad there's Chat GPT, because I couldn't do this otherwise. I, my prompt is always write an article about X. I typically get 3 to 4 times the copy I need, and then I condense it and rewrite it, although not word for word. But then when I make the videos, I use VidVoicer, and those voices sound really good. And I don't use AI for the videos. I use Canva. I'm just making simple slideshow videos.
Yeah.
Picture changes every 5 seconds. Pretty easy. And you may ask, well, why are you doing that? Because I'm creating the videos for backlinks, but I don't want them to totally suck. And I think it's better than the AI talking heads. Although people seem to accept them, but I just decided to go with the slideshows, and clients like them better.
Sure.
So,
Well, and the AI stuff is going to get better and better as far as making
oh yeah,
videos go. And it doesn't always have to be the talking head things. If the talking heads creep you out, because they certainly can creep people out, that whole
yeah.
uncanny valley sort of thing going on there. But if it's a slideshow type of thing, and with transitions and all that, I can do a great job with that. So
I should try it on that. Oh, here's another one for you. Google says it took down 45% more fake reviews with the Google Business Profile in 2023, thanks to a new algorithm. They got a review spam algorithm, review spam fighting metrics. And I had a situation the other day where I have some attorneys in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they are very prominent attorneys. They don't do a lot of promotions online. I mean, they got a nice website. I manage that for them, and I post to their GMBs, but they don't. I mean, they're one of the guy's dad started the firm a million years ago, and they've just got a great reputation. That's where everybody goes. Greensboro's not a huge town, so they can network.
It's a pretty
Um,
big city.
well, yeah, but it's not New York City, is what I'm saying. You know,
No,
it's decent, but I mean, they are
it's not Omaha.
yeah. But nothing's Omaha.
That's
Uh,
true. That's true.
Omaha, the adequate life. But they really are the preeminent criminal defense attorneys in town. I mean, they are just very buttoned down. So I saw a review from some weird name like Middle Eastern or something like that. And, you know, these attorneys are horrible. They're scum of the earth, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, this can't be right. So I was going to tell them to respond to it, but by the time I got over the Google business profile, it had been deleted.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
you know, if you read a review and it's not them at all, and it's got some kind of weird name, that's probably spam, and it was, and they got rid of it. Now, how they determined that, I don't know. I have tried using some, I guess I'll call them spam Google accounts that used to work at one time to leave reviews, and they never stick. So, that
yeah,
they probably look
well,
at activity and stuff.
yeah, there's a reason that Google has had you log into accounts and upload photos and do all
Hmm.
these different things over the years because they're building up a profile of who these people are. And if there's a brand new account that it's never done anything, and all of a sudden they're leaving, a crazy review for something, they know
Yeah.
it's probably nonsense.
Well, I used to use my I call them spam account. If I left a bad review, I'd leave that one because I'm chicken. I didn't want my name on it, but they don't let me do that
Yeah, no,
anymore.
I don't blame you on that, especially locally, because if you're there local, you
Hmm.
don't necessarily want your name being associated with the negative review, but you want to tell the truth.
Yeah, you
So I
want to
get
tell the
that. I've
truth.
certainly
Yeah.
done that.
Um, and but like two of my accounts, my Google accounts. One of them is Google Workspace or whatever they call it now. They host my email, and then the other one is for my train channel, and it's an very old YouTube channel. Um, they make me um, use, I get a notice on my phone. Was this you signing in? On each one of those. So they've locked those two down pretty tight. Um, so I mean, there's another way they can tell. You know, and
Well, oh, go ahead. What do you
oh
got?
no, go ahead. No,
You
what
say
have you?
the one big thing that's come out this week when it comes to AI and it comes to video is the well, they called it the release. They haven't released a darn thing. They've basically said, "Hey, it exists. Take a look at some pre-made stuff." Um, but OpenAI has come out with a new thing called Sora, Sora,
Right.
and what that is a video, kind of like they have DALL-E for creating images. They now have Sora for creating video, and this is not going to create a final video for you. What this is it's going to generate video for you. So, for instance, you might say, I need a video of cars driving down a city street with a McDonald's in the background and dancing clowns cartwheeling through the street. And that's what you'll get.
Huh?
Now,
Cool.
the big fear about this is that they're saying, well, geez, this is going to absolutely kill the stock media business. And yeah, it probably will in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've seen some pretty impressive things out of it. Again, they're releasing what they want you to see. So who knows how good it really does once it's in practice, but it looks really impressive. I mean, think about this. And I do this with images, for instance, in Photoshop. If you don't know, Photoshop has AI built into it now.
Yeah.
And so you can open up a blank Photoshop document and say, I need mountains with a sky in the background. And it's going to create that for you. And then you can continue doing your work. And for some of my work, I do that all the time. I'm like, we were doing a video that had like fruits and vegetables as one of the main things that were in the video. So I said, well, create me a farmer's table in front of a, farm background. And there it is. You got this farm background, you got a table, and we were able to put the items, the fake items on the table. So it looked like, they were really there. But I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. I would have had to normally go through and search through image after image after image, trying to find one. Oh, this one might work. Oh, this one's not very good. Oh, this one would be good except for X. Now I can kind of create exactly what I need for that particular purpose. And it does a pretty good job. It does a pretty good job.
Is now, I think I kind of blinked. Who's it from? Did you say? Is it from
So
ChatGPT?
it's the Chat GPT guys.
Yeah. And is it free?
Nobody knows yet. I doubt it. It's probably, I would imagine it's going to be paid, but, or part of your paid.
Are you using it for free for now?
It doesn't, you can't use it yet.
Oh,
There's no,
okay.
they've released it. They literally said the word release. They haven't released a darn thing. They've released some information and some videos you can look at, but the videos are very impressive. So,
okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Now, one other thing I've kind of noticed out there is, for what it's worth, we've talked about the First Amendment auditors and the cop watchers and stuff like that. And I don't know that I ever got any cop watcher videos recommended, but I did get a number of First Amendment auditors recommended. And these guys were very polite. They never insulted anybody. One guy, for instance, would go into City Hall and make an open records request. And that was his
exactly
audit.
who you're talking about.
Yeah, and that was his audit, and he never insulted anybody, and he was very nice, and he got a ton of views. And a number of he was still looking to get a rise out of people, but he didn't poke them with a cattle prod either. And that's a situation where he has every right to go in there and videotape people and do an open records request. And it was always interesting how people reacted.
Right.
That's what I got recommended. Now there are what they call frauditor channels. Two of them, Frauditor Troll and Dummy Kruger, are the best ones. Are well produced, and they take the worst of the worst out there for cop watchers and First Amendment. First Amendment to auditors, and some of those guys are real jerks. I was kind of like,
oh yeah,
my goodness, and most of them aren't making any money at all out of it. If I saw 8 of them, only 2 are making any money, or whatever. I mean,
give it time. They probably will be eventually.
Well, we'll see. Do you think YouTube will ever demonetize those, or
it depends. They can limit monetization for a variety of different reasons with that.
yeah.
For instance, a lot of the cop watch ones, there's violence in them. Some cop throws somebody to the ground or hits somebody or whatever, and they can't. You really, I mean, we do see them, but you're really not supposed to show that. They can demonetize you for that or block the video or what have you. So,
okay, well. And I've seen a number of cases where the auditor got arrested for trespassing or for obstruction or stuff like that. So
yeah.
I just thought it was kind of.
And if you watch to the end, usually it says, and they dropped all the charges because they're just trying to annoy the guy.
Yeah, right.
I think the cops know well and good they're not going anywhere with this arrest or whatever, but they just do it to annoy the guy. And, then the charges will get dropped and he'll just be happy that they got dropped. And hopefully he won't sue them. But a lot of them do sue, so they got to be careful with that too.
Well, the ones that I've seen, there was actual obstruction, and they were able to get it to stick. There's one guy, Annapolis Audits, I think, Terrence Tracy, and he was getting quite a bit of views, but he became such a nuisance, and he was breaking the law. So all the security, for instance, at Baltimore City Hall has changed because of these guys. And you can't look anything up online anymore, and the mayor doesn't have an open door policy. And the guy's kind of a little twerp jerk. Well, he's been in jail since December.
I think I remember seeing that story because there's
Yeah.
like a lot of GoFundMe's and stuff to get him out. And
Well, and he's appealed all the way up to the Baltimore Supreme Court, so we'll see what happens there. But he's due to get out of jail anytime soon. Anytime soon, he's due to get out of jail pretty soon. And and then he's got a 5-year probation, and one of the terms of his probation, well, of course, you get drug testing at whenever they feel like it, drug and alcohol testing. But he's got to get a real job. Is so I don't know. We'll see how
there's
that
yeah,
goes.
and that's a it's interesting. I do see a lot of that, and I wonder about the true legalities of
Yeah.
that. For instance, there was a lady, she was filmed, she wasn't filming, somebody filmed her flipping out at a Chipotle, and she finally got so mad she threw the food at them, and she ended up getting arrested and everything else. And of course, when she was in court, they just played the video, and they gave her 90 days in jail. But
Ooh.
then they said, well, we'll give you 60 days off if you'll work 2 months in a fast food restaurant, 20 hours a
Ooh.
week.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
there are some odd things that judges at least try to do. Whether they can make them stick or not is, who knows. But seen a lot of that kind of stuff.
Well,
Or the
there's
other one is you're not allowed to be on social media. You're not allowed to have an Instagram
yeah.
account. That
Mhm.
kind of stuff has also happened. So there's a lot of different things going on with that.
The one last thing, and then we'll get into our TikTok. There's a number of county courts, I think, maybe local courts, city courts that stream their proceedings on
Yeah.
YouTube using Zoom, and I thought that was interesting as well. And then you've got people just picking up the most interesting moments and repurposing
Court
it.
cam and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is on
It's
Court
kind of
TV.
cool. Yeah. Well, and then there's also, police cam videos where people freak out. So I end up watching a lot of DUI arrests and idiots in court. And it's kind of interesting because I work with
Oh, it can
DUI
be.
lawyers,
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
A family friend of ours who's kind of a relative, not really, up in Rhode Island is Judge Frank Caprio, who I believe he's
Oh,
retired
sure.
recently.
Yeah. I think he has cancer.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. So you've heard of him too. I was
Yeah.
shocked when I turned on the TV here locally, and he's on TV here. It's just a
Yeah.
guy. He's traffic court basically,
Yeah.
and minor things like
Really
that.
nice, really nice
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. And, his I forget how the relation goes, but my cousin is married to his nephew or whatever. It's Rhode Island.
Yeah.
We're all
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
but
All right.
but yeah, he does the same thing. He's got the one guy. And I always forget the guy's name, but the guy that's with him there all the time.
The bailiff, the big guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the big guy
Yeah.
who looks just like the guy on Blue Bloods.
He does. He does. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the type of thing there. And those things are, I only saw them online, and then all of a sudden I saw, oh, wait a minute. And I knew it was on TV, like public access TV or whatever in Rhode Island for a while and everything, and it was online. But then here it is. I was sitting here in
Yeah.
Atlanta, and here it is on TV. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
Caught in Rhode Island. What the heck?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
those things, people love that kind of stuff. There's a reason why Judge Judy has made millions and millions and
sure.
millions of dollars,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
it's because those court things are really popular. And you know what the best thing about the court ones are?
Mm.
They cost, other than paying Judge Judy $30 million a year, they cost nothing to produce.
Well, especially the
Nothing. I
YouTube
mean,
ones,
relatively,
Yeah. Yeah.
very inexpensive. But a couple other things, Steve, that I know we're talking about TikTok, and I'm avoiding it as long as I can, but
I made you
couple-
do this one.
a couple other things that have happened because we've been away for the last couple of weeks. I've had a cough and I couldn't really get on. I still have it. I've had this cough for like a couple of weeks now.
I had COVID.
Yeah, you had COVID.
I'm
I did,
almost 2
as far as I
weeks.
know.
I had to quarantine. That drove me nuts.
Yeah, I didn't have COVID, or as far as I know. I mean, I had like a sore throat one day, and kind of had the head stuffiness, and then I've just had this cough that just keeps coming back every night, usually in the evening, which is why I'm kind of able to do this now. But at night it comes back really bad, and I don't know why that is. It's just the strain of the day or what. But
what I found is if I get something and I feel like I've never felt before, crappy, like I've never felt crappy. It's probably COVID, and my somebody, me or my wife, I'll put on a mask if we both got it. I'll go
Hangnail,
get
COVID.
a home testing kit to see if I've
Yeah.
got it. And
I was telling
then,
somebody this morning, my Aunt Alice, she passed away a couple months ago, and and she was like 96 years old, and
yeah.
she was when I went up there visiting a couple like last year, and she's laughing because they keep sending her these tests. She's
Oh,
just one little old lady in a nursing home and assisted living home, and she had like 50 of these things because they
oh
just
my
kept sending
goodness.
her like three at a time. Like every month, she kept getting these things, so she had like 50 of them there
Oh
because they
my
just kept
goodness.
sending them over and over and over again, and
Yeah,
she
I
would
wish
laugh and
they
it was like, "Oh, they sent me more of them." So
they should
yeah,
send them to me. But anyhow, yeah, they're kind of there's like $50 for two tests, so it's not cheap. And
jeez,
but so what they I guess my wife knew all about it because she reads a lot and doesn't have ADD like me. I'll read the first paragraph, then I quit. Of any kind of instructions or informative articles, and I guess what it is the COVID test determines if you have the antibodies in your system, and that's how they tell you if you have COVID. And then
right.
what they say is you have to quarantine for 7 days or 10 days, I forget what it is,
Hmm.
after the first onset of symptoms. And I think I got it from my accountant. I went to see her the Friday before. She got it from going to a funeral, and there you go. Now, symptoms were mild. I felt kind of crappy for a couple of days, and after that, I wasn't too
Yeah.
bad. But
Well, that's the beauty of all this stuff now is the biggest thing isn't that, all these vaccines have made COVID go away as much, but it certainly has made the severity go away for a lot of people, which is a good thing. So
yeah, I got the first three vaccines, and I just found that I felt worse than if I actually got it.
I
So
got I can't remember if I got two or three or whatever, but I just went when my wife told me to go.
yeah,
Honestly, I
yeah,
had
right.
no negative effects, no not like it
Really?
was like nothing
Oh,
that happened. The worst thing I had was in my arm. I had like a little bump on my
well,
arm. That was
The
like
the
hard.
the
That was
the,
about
the
it.
first two, no problem. The third one, I really felt like
Yeah.
crap, you know.
So anyway, the reason we
Hey,
brought up COVID and all this stuff was things have happened in these couple of weeks. So the first of which, Steve, have you seen anybody with the Apple Vision Pro out on the streets yet?
no.
I have not either, but apparently everybody's saying they're seeing people all over the place with it. And if you don't know, you've been under a rock or whatever. Apple has released their little AI goggles or VR
Uh-huh.
AR goggles, and
Uh-huh.
$3,500.
Wow.
But it is I'm not going to sit here and say it's worth $3,500. I haven't even used it yet, but technology wise, I can see why this one is $3,500 versus the other ones that are 500 or 1,000 or whatever. It is, from everything I've seen and from everything I've heard from people that have used it, it is a massive, massive leap in the world of AR VR, for good or bad.
Oh,
Who knows? We're
yeah.
getting
Yeah.
closer to that Ready Player One scenario,
Yeah.
but yeah, the biggest thing with that is, of course, it's great for video stuff. You watching videos, making videos, and we're going to start seeing a lot more 3D videos. In fact, one of the interesting things, is when you got your phone here, like this is the iPhone 15,
Uh-huh.
and you can see you've got
The
three
pro,
lenses on there. You
that's the
notice two of
pro.
them are right next to each other. Well, the
That's the
reason
pro,
two of them
right?
are right
You
next
got the
to each
pro.
other, what's that?
You got the pro.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the
Sorry.
Pro
Sorry
Max.
to interrupt you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But you'll notice that you've got the two lenses because you can take that stereoscopic video with the
Uh,
iPhone 15. You can take it with the AR headset, and supposedly the iPhone 16, the regular iPhone 16, is going to go back to the lenses being stacked on top of each other instead of crisscross,
oh.
and it's so that you can take this stereoscopic video for that kind of stuff. So it's a big deal. and it's definitely changing the way computing works, no doubt about it. And Mark Zuckerberg actually did a review of it,
Oh,
and it was kind of funny because obviously they own Oculus with
uh-huh.
the Quest, and he tried to convince everybody that, well, I just think the Quest is just an overall better product, and he has gotten absolutely slaughtered online with that and everything else. Because and don't get me wrong, I'm sure the Oculus Quest is an amazing product, a great product. This is a different thing. It may look the same because it's goggle, but it's a very, very different thing that they're in different groups they're going after, different, end users, different uses. It's a very, very different thing. But what really stood out to me, aside from the video capabilities on it, was you can put these goggles on, and let's say let's say you got your laptop in front of you. Well, when you put your goggles on, there's a little thing will pop up in front of the laptop, a little button, and you click on it, and whoop, a giant computer screen that's vastly larger than your laptop would be.
Oh,
And so you've got like a 40-inch screen in front of you
my
instead of your
goodness.
little laptop.
Wow.
So pretty amazing. And people say, "Oh, $3,500 a lot of money." Well, you know what? In my case, I've got the Mac Studio here, which is the professional, video editing, graphic design
Uh-huh.
Mac here.
Uh-huh.
Um, I've got crappy monitors right now. I miss my iMac
Oh.
Pro, which had an amazing,
Hmm.
amazing 5K monitor, but it was just one. I've got four monitors, but they all suck. It's neat to have four monitors, but they all suck. Well, you could replace if you want to get a really good monitor. Really good monitor is going to cost you $5,900. This
Yeah.
Vision Pro is
Oh,
only going to cost you $3,500, and you could have no monitor at all. So that
yeah.
to me, where this thing could potentially show a lot of value, is that immersiveness. And what's neat is, you can put it on and you can have a screen in front of you and be have the screen in your environment. So
Hmm.
you'll see your room, and this will be here. And by the way, if you move around it, it stays in place. So that
Hmm.
monitor, you put
Hmm.
it as if it's right here in front of you, it's going to stay there. If you move, that's going to stay there. Um, but you can also make a virtual environment around it. So you could be, on the moon with no distractions, working on your stuff, or in a park, or whatever. So it's got a lot of really cool things. So that's just one thing that's come out. The other thing that's really interesting is a bit more on the video and entertainment side, but for years, um, broadcast TV has been where it's at, obviously.
Hmm.
This year, the Super Bowl was streamed on Peacock. Now, it was also available on NBC,
Oh,
but it was
I
streamed
guess
on
I,
Peacock,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and it was the biggest, most watched Super Bowl ever, despite the fact Tom Brady was not in it. It was still the biggest, most watched one ever. And, a lot of that was people streaming it online on Peacock. And, we got to keep an eye on Peacock because they are turning out to be, in my opinion, I think that their service sucks. Their Peacock service, the actual like experience of using Peacock absolutely sucks. It is the worst one. It
Oh, is
drops
it?
the most.
Oh,
I have more trouble with that one. I'll think, what's wrong with my internet, and everything else works except Peacock. So there's a lot of that going on, but they are really, really pushing in on the content, and it's the real dark horse that came out of nowhere. But they had the Super Bowl. They've got a lot of sporting stuff going on there now. They're doing a lot of original programming that's very popular. So I could see a lot of changes going on there now. And they also, here's an interesting thing. They also are the home of what used to be the WWE network. So
yeah,
all the
yeah.
wrestling stuff is now on Peacock.
On
But
Peacock.
here's what's interesting, and not that this is some sort of wrestling podcast or football podcast, but uh, Netflix just became the new home for WWE's Raw, which has been on for what, 40
Mm,
years now,
yeah.
35 years or whatever it's been. And it's
Oh,
been on USA Network and whatnot for all these
right.
years, and a few others here and there. But it's now going to Netflix
I'll be
so
darned.
this is a major long running TV program that's going to Netflix. So the streaming stuff is really starting to take it to a new level. And I think that you're going to see a lot of changes over the next few years. And I think you're really going to see a decline in traditional TV. So there you go.
Well, I know with Peacock, and now that you mention it, I remember the Super Bowl thing. I just decided to watch the local one on YouTube
Yeah.
TV. But
I think I watched it on Peacock.
did you?
I can't,
Okay, just to
I
see
can't
it.
remember if I watched it on regular
Well,
TV.
they've signed a deal with the Big Ten network, or excuse me, with the Big Ten conference.
Right.
And so they're streaming a number of games. So there was a Nebraska game that they probably lost in the final minute, but that was on Peacock, and I got it and watched it. And so just that was considered a really big deal to sign
Yep.
something with
Yep.
the Big Ten
And
conference.
Apple has signed MLS, so MLS is
That's
going to be
right.
on Apple.
That's right. Yeah, I know that.
There's just a lot, and of course, this year in the award shows, Apple was nominated for more
Mm-hmm.
awards than any of the
Mm-hmm.
other networks, regular
Mm-hmm.
networks.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's incredible. It really is. And with Disney and Hulu possibly merging together into one platform, they're both owned by the same people right now. But at some point in time, it's supposed to be that they kind of merge together. It's going to offer a lot of opportunities. And we've done advertising with Hulu for a long time. Peacock has it now too. I've signed up for it and haven't heard a darn thing from them since I signed up yet, but hopefully we'll hear back from them because that could be a big deal. And when Disney gets into the advertising part of that with Hulu, that's going to be a big deal as well. Disney's supposed to be switching, either merging with Hulu or at least starting to do tiered advertising. And even if you go to Hulu and you start to get into the advertising stuff, you'll find that in a lot of places it's already being called Disney advertising now. So that merge in some way is happening. Supposedly Hulu and Disney Plus were going to become one network, but who knows? We'll see if that happens. But regardless of that, you've got a lot of opportunities there for advertising, for content, for cutting the cord. I mean, the only reason we have television right now at all is because it's part of our package with our internet so that we save money, like that's
Yeah.
about the only
Okay.
reason we really have it at this point in time. So
Yeah, ours is extra for cable TV. We get our internet from the old cable TV company. It's good internet too, but
yeah, we got
we
good internet, but it's like, oh, you got to do the package to get $50
don't.
off of this.
Yeah, well, we don't. So TikTok, do we want to do
Heck,
that or save it
heck
for?
yeah, we got to
All
talk a
right.
little about the
Okay.
ticky-tacky and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So, of course, I got to admit, with the escape room, we've jumped in with TikTok. We put all our stuff that we do on TikTok. It's one of the places we do, and we've done okay with it on there. Not fantastically. We do much better on Reels, to be honest. Even better than YouTube Shorts. We do much better on Reels than we do TikTok or YouTube Shorts. Don't know why that is. And by the way, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels doesn't do as good as Facebook Reels.
okay.
Don't know why that is. Our stuff
Yeah.
kind of appeals to the younger audiences, so you would think that
It'd be
the TikTok
Instagram
reel,
or
but
TikTok. Yeah.
yeah,
But anyhow,
but regardless of that, TikTok, I kind of did for a little while. I kind of backed off because I thought, okay, well, they're going to start banning this thing and it's going to be gone. But there's been a lot of talk of that, but obviously that's not happening. Montana did some kind of a ban of TikTok, but how do you enforce that? And what do you do? Oh, you watched TikTok, we're putting you in jail. It doesn't make any sense. It's here to stay. And, advertising is going to be a way of doing that. And I will tell you that they have a very, very robust advertising system and probably one of the more creative ones. And that's why if you're doing video, you really should look into this because, they have within TikTok, I don't know if it's as many options, but similar in the number of options for advertising as Google does for all of their platforms, including YouTube mixed in there. They've got a lot of different things that you can do, including as little as advertising with the stickers that people put on their TikTok videos. You can actually put little stickers on there, and you can be advertising with those. So there's a lot of opportunity, and right now it's relatively speaking, it's pretty inexpensive to do that. YouTube is inexpensive to do advertising, and TikTok is very inexpensive to do advertising. So if you're able to do that, it is something you want to get into. So what do you need to do for that? Well, you can do a lot of different things. You can have everything from image ads to carousel ads to the stickers to traditional videos, and you can start to do a lot of fun things with it. So not just here's my little 60-second TikTok that I'm going to use as an ad, which you can do, but you can do things like taking over brands. You can do things like, you know, going after hashtags. I mean, there's just a lot of really creative stuff that you can do with that. And, you know, they've got one that it's called, what do they call it? Spark ads. And this gives you've got the ability to actually sponsor organic content and that, you know, is related to your stuff. So you can literally sponsor other things that are related to get your advertising out there. So it is a very, very good platform for that. And, you know, like I said, right now we're just learning about this. We're just starting to explore it. So I'm a little late to the game on this. I got to admit, like I said, I was one who thought, oh, this TikTok thing's going to get banned and go away. So why bother putting too much effort into it? So I was
Right.
wrong. What can
Yeah.
I tell you?
Yeah.
But now it's something that we're really looking at with a lot of our clients. I'm talking right now with the nerve doctors because we want to get that stuff on TikTok. I've been trying to get them to put the stuff on TikTok for a while, but now is the time that what we need to do is we need to start thinking about advertising on there and whatnot. And some of the other people that I work with have said the exact same thing. We want to advertise on TikTok. We want to advertise on TikTok. And I don't blame them because it is a captive audience. There's, you know, we got a population in the world of what, 7 billion people or so, 7.5 billion people. And they've got like 2 billion people a day watching this stuff. I
Yeah.
mean,
Wow.
it's absolutely incredible the number of people that are watching TikTok. Now, has it replaced YouTube? I would say no, but it's right up there.
Yeah.
It's different than YouTube. It's a different animal, but it's video related and it's very, very popular. And Steve, what have you done with TikTok? You done anything with TikTok yet?
You know, Ray, I got to admit, I haven't. I downloaded it to my phone and I watch a few TikTok videos every now and then, but I haven't found a way to utilize it. Yeah, I suppose I could do goofy stuff and put it on TikTok, but I just haven't got around to that. You know, a lot of what I use YouTube for is backlinks and authority and stuff like that. And then you've got my train videos, which one thing I've learned from those train videos is that if I make them sort of clickbait, you know, instead of describing everything I saw, just say, this
Wait
was,
till you see what happens at minute
yeah,
5,
yeah,
you know.
and do the same thing with the thumbnail. I'll go from a couple hundred views to a couple thousand views. So that's kind of cool. But I've just never had this passion to do TikTok. I don't, you know, I'm not in a situation like you where we'd be moving a client over to TikTok. And I guess I'm kind of lazy too. So I was really interested in what you'd have to say about it.
Yeah, again, you know, I'm the first to admit I am late to the party on this one because again, I kind of thought it was going to get I was afraid it was just going to get banned and that would be the end of the TikTok thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Well,
when
me
YouTube
too.
came out
Me
with
too.
shorts and, you know, it's kind of like the 1-2 punch that could knock the whole thing out, but it hasn't. They haven't banned it. And I believe Montana's backed off of their ban.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
you know, and I don't know how much they backed off on it, but I know I heard something about them kind of
Well,
backing off on that.
can they block it on ISPs or something?
I don't know. I'm not sure what they really.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it was well thought out. You know, it's like that whole the government never seems to quite grasp a lot of the tech stuff that they try to get their hands in. You know, like for instance,
Yeah,
I
but they
remember a story
can.
of this guy being detained at a and I don't remember which airport it was, but he's detained at an airport because they thought he had Bitcoin in his bag. So yeah.
Yeah,
So they don't
that's
quite get a lot of times they don't get the technology and They
Well,
tend to fall.
I don't think uh, that they would be able to ban it on ISPs or Verizon or anything like that. I
Well,
don't know
they
how
could
they.
require them to block,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
the
Okay.
traffic and things like that. So, I'm sure that's what they were doing. I don't think they were, chasing after Johnny who watched a TikTok video to find him or anything like that. But I think they were, just trying to block it from being available in the state. But how do you do that? Because, then what? If you using your phone, what are you going to do? Well,
Yeah.
they stepped into Montana now.
Yeah.
They crossed the
Yeah.
border into Montana, so we're going to block their AT&T. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well,
And
and I downloaded it to my phone a few years ago, and then I heard that the Chinese were spying on me, so I took it off my phone. And then you told me that, well, the servers are in the United States, so I put it back on my phone and
well,
started
and it
using it.
was when China start. Well, first of all, the guy in charge of it was from Singapore. In fact, there's a video out there if you look at it, and it's the Congress is questioning the guy, and they're like, "Are you a Chinese national?" And he's like, "I'm from Singapore, sir. I'm
Yeah,
from Singapore."
yeah,
Well, have you ever been in Chinese?
yeah.
I'm from Singapore. Where's your passport? My passport is from Singapore. Have you ever had a Chinese passport? No, I've got a Singapore passport.
Oh my goodness, I've gotten a visa in China. I've gone to China, but yeah.
Yeah. But
Um,
but I believe at the time, and I don't know what ended up happening with this, but I know when it was first kind of becoming an issue where they were like, oh, we got to ban TikTok and it's Chinese spies and all that, that they had sold TikTok outside of China to like a company in India. And so it was run out of that. So I don't know exactly what that, I remember
yeah.
something with the
Okay.
Indians having control of it outside of China and, the servers are in the US but
Well, I
I,
know I know some of my clients have tried stuff on TikTok, and they just never got any traction with it. So that
well,
I'm not saying you can't get traction. I'm just
yeah,
saying,
I mean, it depends.
um,
If you're a plumber and you're just going to be like, "Hi, call Jiffy Plum tomorrow and we'll
yeah,
unstop your
yeah,
drain." Well, why would that be? Why would that do good on TikTok? Maybe
yeah,
as an advertisement, it might do good, but why would that content ever do good on anywhere, let alone TikTok? It's not going to. That's not. It's not what they. I hate to use the word viral content because not everything that's good is viral and not everything that's viral is good, but shareable content, watchable content, desirable content. And I'm sorry, but yes, if you've got a stopped drain, you may have the desire to watch a video from a plumber right now because you're trying to get somebody to help you. But
mhm.
under normal circumstances, you're not going, you know what? I feel like watching a bunch of
Right,
plumber
right,
marketing videos this afternoon. No, you're going to watch, the fun stuff. You're going to watch the cop videos that we talked about earlier, or train videos, or what have you. So that's where the trouble comes in. You got to have content that makes sense. And I met with a client this morning, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to start doing video, and he wants a YouTube channel. He wants to put the stuff on TikTok and all that. And so that's the plan we're starting to put together now, is where he's going to have all of this content that he can put on all the different platforms. And he's a mechanic. He's a diesel mechanic. And he said, well, what kind of audience? Well, maybe there's not a huge audience, but there's also not a lot of people doing that. So it's a very specific, you're covering a specific niche that maybe a lot of people aren't doing. But he also is going to be doing a lot of repair of classic cars and things like that. So that'll definitely be a little bit more viral, a lot more competition, but a little bit more viral. So he wants to start shooting these videos for classic car repair and for the diesel repair. And I said, yeah, so we'll put together channels and we'll have different sections in there. We'll make the short videos out of that stuff and we'll put that on TikTok to generate some of the traffic and go from there. So
well,
that's where it really comes in
I,
is
I, I've got a client. In fact, he's a mutual client, Joey Franks, the big man at Big Man Law, and he is a character. And there was one short where he chugged a Michelob Ultra, and then he took a breath test, and it said he was over the legal limit. Now he said, before he chugged the bottle of beer, he said, I'm as sober as a judge." He uses all those Southern terms, and he blew over that got thousands of views on YouTube, not TikTok. And
yeah,
he
you
talks up
never
both
know.
channels. And So I don't know. I don't know. And maybe now TikTok has got thousands of views. That could be, but
Yeah,
yeah.
and you know what's funny is what he should do in advice time on Video Marketing Madness.
Uh,
One thing he should try doing is instead of chugging that beer, put the beer in his mouth, swish it around, spit it out, never drink it, and see if it
oh
will
yeah,
sweeten he blows. Because
yeah,
I
see,
bet you he would
yeah,
blow close to the limit just from that,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
just
yeah.
from what's on his breath at that point in time. So,
But his video, I mean, he's a piece of work, and I mean, and when I say piece of work, I mean great guy. He's just got a real personality, and his videos are very entertaining. His shorts do really well.
yeah,
His full length videos not as much, but
takes time
uh,
though. Takes a long time.
yeah, yeah, and but he did one video, for instance, on who his favorite president was on President's Day, and it turns out it was Teddy Roosevelt, and it was interesting, but it maybe got 20 views, and I tried making it into clickbait and editing the video, and it still got 20 views. So I don't know. He's he's very well known in his community. And that's about all I can say. So, we'll just keep
Well,
walking.
that's good. I don't know. That's really good. And I like this kind of stuff. And again, I'm not seeing massive stuff on TikTok right now, but then again, I'm not doing the type of stuff maybe that the TikTok people want to see. But if we
Yeah,
start to do that
yeah,
and we do it purposefully, we can definitely take off
yeah,
on
yeah,
that. The
yeah,
advertising is a great thing on there for anybody that's trying to get a little bit of attention, especially if you've got, a product that is in a popular niche. Oh my goodness, that you got to get in there and do that. I'm trying to think of a good example. Um, you sell you sell specialized juggling balls,
yeah. There we go.
it could
Yeah,
be sold to
yeah,
anybody,
yeah,
and there's juggling content on that. That's the type of thing that's going to
yeah.
really a local plumber in
No,
Pittsburgh,
yeah, and maybe it
maybe
just
not.
could be
Certainly
because
worth
he's a
trying.
lawyer.
Just
It
depends.
could
But
it could be just because he's a lawyer, and that could be it.
like I said,
Um,
even our fun escape room content, on Facebook Reels, we've got some that have 40 plus million views, and yet every one of them on TikTok has, a couple thousand, or some cases not even that. So
yeah, he'd take a couple thousand on TikTok, but anyhow, I do have an article on running YouTube ads that I'll put in the show notes. It's pretty comprehensive that I found. Here's another thing that just popped up on my Facebook timeline that somebody at Search Engine Land noticed. Google Ads pushes, and when we do Performance Max Google Ads,
oh, I was just thinking about Performance Max, and we'll need to talk about that,
is it
if not
working?
today because we're running out of time, but at some point in time. Because speaking of our good buddy Joey there, um, just a quick story. We were doing traditional Google Ads with him, spending quite a bit of money,
Yeah,
and Performance Max has rolled out, and we put like just $10 a day in Performance Max, and waited a couple of weeks to see how it did. That $10 absolutely annihilated all the other money he was spending. Like, it was way ahead of all that.
wow.
And now the number of clicks and to his website and everything that he gets is, and I'm not joking when I say about 7 times what it was before.
Is it all in Performance Max now?
It is pretty much all in Performance Max now.
And so, do we want to talk to him about upping his budget?
The sad part is I don't think he needs to.
Oh, okay.
He might tell you to screw off if you try to send him more people. I don't know.
Well,
We got to talk to him and
yeah,
see how he's doing, because the number of clicks and calls that he's getting, according to this, I mean, I'm not joking. When you look at the thing, it's like, this was really good. This is what it used to be. And it looks like he wasn't getting anything because the new thing is so high up there on the little charts that it looks like he was doing nothing before. And you look at the numbers, and his numbers were really good down here. They're literally 7 times what they were.
cool. Well,
So
here's what somebody at Search Engine Land just noticed. Google Ads pushes Performance Max with new call to action. The card is not only bigger, but it has a recently used label. So Marketers have long claimed that Google is pushing automation to gain more advertising control. The exclusive presence of this label on a PMax campaign card suggests the search engine is subtly trying to promote PMax over other campaign times
And they should.
types.
They really should.
Yeah. So anyhow,
And if you don't know what it is, by the way, essentially what Performance Max is Google. You go into Google Ads, and instead of running, a banner ad on Google, or
Mhm.
running an ad on the maps or something like that, what you do is you say, "Hey, this is the company. This is who we're trying to hit. This is where we're trying to hit. Here are some videos. Here are some images. Here are some graphics. Here are some texts or some headlines. Here, and it just goes and uses all that stuff that you throw into that hopper and puts ads everywhere. So you got ads in Gmail, you got ads on YouTube, you've got ads on, all these different places, the banner ads, the map, whatever makes sense. And it puts it everywhere, and it monitors what's doing well and puts more towards the things that are doing well for them. So it's really it's very, very good.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, Steve, and I don't know how long this has been going on, because I certainly wasn't searching for this stuff purposely, but until I came across it recently. But if you know Google guarantees and what that is,
Yeah.
which is where, for instance, if you're a plumber, you can be Google guaranteed, and
Screened. Yeah. Yeah.
you'll be screened. They will put you at the top when people are searching, and literally the guarantee is, like, if that plumber shows up to your house and wrecks your floor, Google will pay to get that floor fixed if the plumber does not. So they will guarantee that you will get taken care of.
Cool.
They've expanded that into physical service labor positions now, like, for instance, financial services and things like that now have it. It's now called, I think it's just for those guys, it's called Google Screen, because there's no guarantee, because obviously they're not coming into your home and doing physical work. So it's not guaranteed for these. It's Google Screened, I believe is what they say in there, or verified, but I think it says screened. And they do the exact same thing for those types of services. So it is expanding out. Not to anybody's surprise, but it is out there. So
yeah, well, that's cool. That's cool. Well, we haven't done a show in a while. I think we made up for it today.
Ooh, I think so. Yeah, this is the longest show we've had in probably years.
Yeah. So that's
a
good.
lot of nonsense in there, but
Yeah, I know. Well,
hopefully
there's
it was
always
still fun and entertaining in some sort of way.
lots,
I've made my
always
day
lots of
talking
nonsense.
I got my Rotary shirt on this today, and this morning I had to, I run the Rotary, meetings on Thursday nights, which is why I'm usually in this shirt, because we do this on Thursday afternoons. But today our speaker canceled out at the last minute, so I had to come in and take over. So I've been talking all day long, talking live there, talking live on this, and we got class in a little while. So yeah, we got a lot of talking today. A lot of talking.
Yeah, a lot of talking. Well, okay, my friend, who helped make this fine episode possible?
Well, making this episode possible are our good friends that help you make all the great videos, and that is our friends at Movo, who make all sorts of great things. So if you're looking for things like a webcam, they've got an amazing 4K webcam that has a professional microphone and a ring light built into the microphone. So it's one piece that does all of that. It's a very, very good microphone and a very, very good camera. So you want to check that out if you get a chance. But they also make things like stands so that you can put your phone onto a tripod. They also make things like lights so that you can put lights on your phone when you're trying to go out and shoot. They make things like wireless microphones. They make wired microphones. In fact, one of the greatest things they have is the lapel microphone that costs a whopping $18 or $14 or $15, depending on the day. But that little thing plugs right into your phone, or you can get one that plugs into a traditional camera, and you're going to have an amazing sound without having to spend a fortune. So there's no excuse for sounding like you're in a tin can, because you can get this for less than $20. And how do you get all these things? Well, head on over to raiselinks.com/Movo. And with that,
very cool.
Let's hit the music.
Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. We're going to end the stream now.